Morning. We'll get started. We're still waiting on a couple members to get a quorum, but we can go ahead and start. Madam Clerk, if you want to go ahead and call the roll, please.
Senator Chambers Armstrong. Senator Elkins.
Present.
Senator Funky Fromar. Senator McDaniel. Senator Neal. Senator Nemus.
Present.
Senator Wilson. Representative Bojanowski. Here. Representative Camuel.
Here.
Representative Duval. Representative Fleming. Representative Johnson. Here. Representative Petrie. Representative Tipton.
Here.
Auditor Ball.
Savannah Baker here on behalf of Auditor Ball.
John Hicks. Victor Maddox.
Here.
Representative Hale.
Present.
Chair Higdon.
Here.
Co-Chair Thomas.
Present.
Okey-doke. Our first bill that we're going to discuss this morning is Representative John Blanton, Act relating to pension spiking and the systems administrated by Kentucky Public Pension Authority. And John, good morning. Of course, we've had a lot of discussions about our rule to try to prevent any type of unfunded liability, and I know that your bill primarily addresses the court case, and so if you would please proceed.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. John Blanton, I'm the state representative in the 92nd District. My bill is very simple and very short. If you'll recall, last year we passed a piece of legislation codifying the language.
John, get your microphone.
Codifying the language from the court ruling dealing with the pay raises we gave back in the 2022 budget. Well, I didn't realize at the time, and that's on me, was that went from the date of the court filing forward. And we had a few employees that between the pay raise and the time of the court ruling that retired out. So all this bill does is makes it retroactive back to July the 1st of 2022. At the time those pay raises went into effect, and it captures those that were in the same circumstance as those that retired from the court date on, court ruling on. Does that make sense?
It does.
So that's all this bill does. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Well, I will ask you one. Will your legislation be written tight enough that it will only cover those that we're intending to cover? Because, you know, there's a lot of people in the system that just want to make sure that we're covering the folks that this legislation is targeted to.
It will be.
Okay, that's good.
Absolutely.
That's good, because we know that's why we passed the previous bill, is because of the court order.
Yes.
And, so that's good. Representative Bojanowski has a question.
Yes. How many individuals do you think this would impact?
It's my understanding from the time period of July 1st to 22 up until the time of the court ruling, there was an approximate about 1,000 employees that retired that will have to be reviewed. Now, not all those people were impacted, nor were they considered spiking. So we know it's going to be less than that, and I would guess quite a bit less than that.
Thank you.
Representative Blanton, you do have an AA on that.
It is not complete at this time, but they are in the process of working on that AA.
Okay. That is, thank you. Any? Okay, thank you. Now we're going to get the systems. We're going to call Ryan up from the KPPA to comment on for any comments they might have on it. Or,
Good morning. Ryan Barrow, KPPA. I'm actually going to defer this to the expert, Aaron.
Aaron, you were sitting behind the pole. If I'd seen you, I would have called on you instead of Ryan.
Shoot, that hiding place didn't work. Hi, Erin Surratt. I'm the Deputy Executive Director of KPPA.
I guess the concern and wanted to ask, and I know Representative Blanton says his language is fairly tight, but are you concerned that it might be broader than when you backdate it like that? Will it be broader and other people be affected that are not intended or by the actual lawsuit?
I don't think that it will be broader than what the Court of Appeals ruling was for the basically the across-the-board raises in a specified class. I don't think it will go out of bounds from that. It will go back to 2022. The only thing that I can anticipate is that there will be others that will ask who had retirement dates before July 1st, 2022 that may want the same option.
But the court order or the judgment only affects those that in that pay raise that was given in 2022, correct?
No, it's not just it's for any class that gets a bona fide raise for a specified class. So it would be for in any of the systems that we administer, KERS, CERS, or SPRS. So it's for any employees who receive what we call an across-the-board raise during that period. It went into effect July 1st of 2024. The original Court of Appeal went into for retirement dates July 1st, 2024 and after. This bill would just back that up to look at that same thing, back to retirement dates of July 1st, 2022 and after.
But I guess I'm trying to be specific. Does the court order was it only directed at those raises that were given at that time, or does it go back to 2018, 2015, or
pension spiking only looks at the last 5 years before retirement, so it would include anything in that period. So regardless of when the law went into effect, it's based on when they retire. So if they retired on July 1st, 2024, and they are determined to be a spike in one of the 5 years prior to their retirement date, then if that spike was because of an across-the-board raise, then it would not be included as a spike. So it doesn't look at just the years that were after the effective date of that. It takes into account the effective retirement date of the member.
Representative Tipton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And kind of on this fault, as I recall, in 22, we gave the state police a $15,000 raise across the board. Mm-hmm. Would most of the people in this category be the troopers who were impacted by that, or are there other state employees that also were impacted by this?
I don't remember the details of all the raises that have been given the past few years. I know we've had some significant ones that we haven't seen in the past traditionally. So there could be others. It wouldn't just be the state police that we would have to review all of them that were considered a spike. So there could be others.
Mr. Chair, if I could offer one additional comment.
Yes.
Based on my memory of the budgets prior to 22, mm-hmm. I don't require much in the way of pay raises for employees till we got to 22.
Yeah,
so
right.
I would anticipate it would be very rare for those employees prior to 2022 budget cycle to be impacted by this.
I would agree. For your state employees now, the county employees could be different.
I guess I'm just concerned about that Pandora's box where we're back next year mm-hmm. with another piece of legislation to pick up some other employees, and then the next year we just continue. Is that possible?
Well, and that's what I was saying earlier. It could, if this goes into effect, and a person who retired before July 1st of 2022 could also ask for the same thing to be looked at. Member pension spiking started January for retirement dates effective January 1st, 2018 and after.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right.
Thank
members
you.
of the committee.
Thank you. We do have a quorum. If I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes. I have a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. Next one up is Senator Matt Nunn. Senator Nunn, you can identify yourself for the record and have your guests identify themselves, and you all can proceed.
Good morning, everyone. I am Matt Nunn, representing Senate District 17.
Billy Parker, Superintendent of Scott County Schools in Georgetown, Kentucky.
Thank you for having us this morning. I invited Billy because this is his idea. And so I figured who best to explain it. He'll do a much better job explaining and answering any questions than I could. But he brought this to me in the summer, and I was really excited about it the second we talked about it because I can see it having a huge impact in our schools in a couple ways. Number one, I think it will lead to teachers taking less sick days, and that improves classroom instruction. And anything we can do to improve classroom instruction, improve outcomes, I'm excited about looking at that. The second thing it'll do is I think it'll help us retain some of our younger teachers by allowing them to cash out sick days and putting more money in their pocket, allowing us to compete with the private sector that they're competing with now. So with that, I'm going to step aside and let Billy explain his great idea.
What really came about was looking at Tier 4 members and the incentive for Tier 4 members to hang on to sick days, and maybe on those wonderful days in May when Keeneland's running, not be as apt to not be there. So we find that again you've got the situation of the instruction by the primary teacher not being there being an impact, as well as the fact that when you run into a shortage, you've got a variety of situations where teachers are having to cover for other teachers, class sizes, all the things. So this is just really looking at this. This is an option that districts would have to consider, and it would be voluntary to members. It gives them gives them that opportunity. In your packet, you can see there's a variety of scenarios, and the scenarios I've presented are really specific to our district's numbers, but they should hold true to a degree in terms of the differences there. But essentially, it's cheaper. It's cheaper if we. Okay.
Does he have a slide? Okay, we have a slide.
Sure.
Senator Nunn, I didn't realize you were going to be this high tech.
Hey, you know me.
Do what? Vote in asking. Okay.
And sir, am I correct? Everybody does have a copy of this. Okay, just wanted to make sure. All right, good deal. Yeah, so that slide there is the first slide that it really gets into specific Scott County Schools data. And, for every district, it's a little bit different. For us, we have a tiered structure with our sub pay. So you can see if a teacher was out and they had the cheapest sub, the cost there to the district. If the teacher was out and most expensive sub, if the teacher's present, and then they take the payout at retirement, what that cost is. And with the proposal, if the teacher was present and then they cashed out that day, how that's cheaper. Again, that's cheaper because we're cashing out at today's rates, not their end-of-year higher retirement rates. The other thing to consider is that with number 3, depending on what tier they are, that payout at retirement could also have an impact to the TRS system. So by doing this, if there's a member that's in tiers 1 through 3 who chose to pursue this program, there is potentially a cost saving to the retirement system as well. Again, based on Scott County numbers there. Again, reduced retirement liability. Payments would be made at their current rate versus those higher end of career rates. The payments are not considered compensation that could be applied towards towards their end of year. So if they pursue this, it would not roll into the pension formula, and there would be no state cost. Again, this is a district-funded option, and this is an option that's optional to members. No requirement for teachers to pursue this. For someone like myself that's close to the end, probably not something I'm going to consider. But again, I wanted to make sure we had a carrot we could dangle, especially for our newer members that, I've talked to many of my colleagues, and we all have a number of teachers that work for us that really aren't looking towards the end, and they like what they do, they just don't know. Maybe it'll be for a few years, maybe 5, maybe 10, but if they don't have that opportunity for an incentive with those sick days at the end, if we could provide some opportunity for them to have some value now, this is an option that we'd hope that they may pursue. This is Scott County numbers. So the immediate financial incentive would be perhaps a summer check. The way that the program I would envision would run would be sometime in June. People would share if they wanted to participate. For us, it'd be around $1,269 pre-tax, around $900 or so after tax. You could put that towards a vacation, towards home improvements. Who knows? Again, recognition of just awarding that higher attendance for our staff, and again, the flexibility is there because of the entirely voluntary situation. And if they still want to choose to hold those days, they can. This idea has been vetted. I wasn't sure if we would need legislative support on this, so I planned on trying to maybe run this past school year, but found that we needed some changes to make it happen. So that's why we're here. I did discuss this with Commissioner Fletcher. I discussed it with KDE's legal team. I had conversation with Bo Barnes as well, our local KEA chapter in Scott County, and our UniServe director. And again, because of the optional piece to the districts and the voluntary piece for the employees, I've yet to find anyone that has a concern with this proposal. So I'm really excited to get this in front of more people to see if it passes the smell test for everybody. And again, prioritizes our students because it keeps the main thing the main thing. We want quality instruction in our schools, and this helps us to make sure that the people that can provide that best instruction are there more often. It supports the teachers, again, because the less need there is for subs, less likely we have sub shortages, and less often teachers are going to have to cover for those. Empowers our local districts by giving the boards the power to create the program to best work for their workforce and their budget, and again potentially reduces that long-term debt by settling at today's prices. And I just would really appreciate the support on this.
Okay, we do have questions. You need to go ahead, Senator Nunn.
One more point. Thank you, Billy, for your excellent presentation. You explained it well. There is language in the bill preventing an impact on pensions, and it says the compensation for unused sick days established by this paragraph shall not be considered compensation or creditable compensation for purposes of any contributions payable to or for computation of benefits payable by the teacher's retirement system and the county employee's retirement system. So there's language in the bill to protect that concern.
Okay. Representative Bojanowski.
Yes, so I understand the structure of the bill and the goal. What I don't exactly is because I'm a teacher, right? And so I'm going to tell you it is harder to take a sick day than it is to go to work not feeling well. So I don't really see directly how this would encourage teachers to work. And it rubs me a little bit the wrong way that that's the statement that, oh, if you get to cash out your sick days, you might come to work instead of taking a sick day. So the essence of the bill, I can understand. I know that there are teachers who aren't looking toward retirement that might want to cash out the numbers. But I just wanted you to explain a little more that connection. Are you thinking that teachers won't take a sick day because they might be able to cash them out? And that just rubs me a little bit the wrong way.
Okay. I think you and I would probably fall in the same tier as far as the retirement system goes. Just from where I'm aware of your past, and just like to know who I'm talking to. But I think what we found, and again talking to superintendents across the state, is some of our teachers that haven't been in the system as long, those Tier 4 teachers, that's the group that we're finding, just looking at the data in our districts as far as who's more likely to utilize those days, that's what we're finding is we're just trying to provide one more reason. And again, given an opportunity for there to be some additional value to these days, not trying to, again, say anything bad about anybody's use of the days, but again, trying to incentivize someone who, maybe they could adjust the scheduling of some appointments or different things. That's all. It's just, again, a potential tool for, for using that as one more thing. Again, we're just trying to come up with different ideas and ideas that really won't create additional costs for the state within the structures that we have.
Senator Funky Fromeyer.
Thank you, Senator Nunn, for bringing this. We've heard a number of principals and superintendents kind of buzz around this idea. So to put it in writing, I see it as a bit of a wellness bonus. I like that. That resonates with me. The section on in excess of 15 days. Am I reading that correctly, that it's still requiring a 15-day sick leave bank? You can't actually withdraw more than, you must leave 15 days in the bank?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, and we landed on 15 days because those current statutes now that you can contribute, you can donate sick leave after you have 15 days, and so that's why we landed on that number.
Yeah, the sick leave bank is something that every district I've ever been in participates in and has available to them, and it's you can contribute to that, you can be a part of that, and so that the real piece was trying to come up with a number that made sense as far as how many someone may need to have before you would permit this, and the thought was, well, if there's legislation already that supports that at 15 days you can participate in the sick leave bank and contribute to others, that made sense that you could contribute to yourself.
Yeah, yes.
And thank you. Just sort of a clarifying point as well. And then it also notes not to exceed 30%. Is that the same percentage that if you were getting paid out
Yes.
and then that contributed towards your retirement, that's
Yes,
the
ma'am.
30% value?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Representative Tipton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senator Nunn, Mr. Parker, thank you for coming forward with this presentation. It's a very innovative concept. A few comments as I look at this. I would anticipate that a teacher who is near retirement might not be as incentivized to take this. But I have a daughter who turns 27 next week. She's on her third job, but I'm sure it's not her last. This generation does not stay in one profession. That's just, and I think by bringing this forward, you're recognizing that. Just want to clarify, a district can choose whether or not to opt in or out, and it's entirely up to the teachers within that district whether or not they want to participate or not. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
One other follow-up question. I know you've talked to KEA, superintendents, and all these groups. Have you talked to the teachers in your district, and what kind of response have you got from them, Mr. Parker?
Yes. Well, and that's where I appreciate the way that the bill draft has come out, because initially I think there's a page that we kind of skipped at the front end in which I had been talking about limiting it to the 13 days that teachers get per year annually. And that's the one piece that I've gotten feedback on is like, man, it'd be nice if maybe we didn't have to only do 13. Maybe if we could bank them for 2 years and then cash out 26, it might be a little bit more sizable. Not every year, but a little bit more sizable every year. And I would say that is the one thing that the districts will have to be careful with is, you don't want to just be willy-nilly with this, and you could run into a situation where somebody's cashing out a tremendous amount and it could be become a budgetary issue for you. So that's something where for us, when we're thinking about this, we're looking at either 13 or 26 potentially being the max, especially on the front end, and then be able to adjust it after we see if it's been successful. Yeah.
Representative Camille.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you all for this presentation. I've just got a couple of questions, and I always try to say for transparency, I work for public schools, not a teacher, but I'm in the CERS retirement system, and my husband is 29 and a half years in KTRS. So one of the questions I had is the tax liability. So are they taxed at a higher rate for if they cash out, say, 15 days?
I don't believe. I mean, the same rules would apply as my understanding of the bill is the same rules would apply for this that apply for any other compensation that's provided.
Okay. May I ask a couple, just two more?
You may.
Thank you. The other one is, if it's a district-funded option, what pot of money would this come from to do the payouts?
Great question, and that's part of why this needs to be an optional thing for districts, because every district might be at a different place with this. For instance, in our district, we may be at a place where we could consider cashing out a larger number than maybe another district. But again, at the end of the day, the way I've looked at it is this: at the end, when they retire, we're going to be paying that out anyway as a district, because we pay for the payout, the initial payout of those days, even though there might be a TRS impact. So it's a matter of, am I going to pay it out at the end? Am I going to pay it out now? And again, not trying to shortchange our teachers by paying it out at today's rate. I'm simply trying to acknowledge that, again, for some people, maybe life happens. You know, maybe it's an opportunity for them to have some money at a time that they need it. And that's the thought. So yes, it would kind of transfer for a district the timing of when they are paying that. But again, for me, I'm also thinking about the fact that looking at the cost of what it is when they're using those days. So it's saving us money, and also again, it all comes down to bottom line, providing for better instruction for our students every day.
And that I appreciate and understand. And I think what I'm trying to get at is, as budgets are tighter, would it come from general funds? Like, where would those? If you have, I don't know how many teachers you have in your district.
Yeah, around 750, 800.
Okay, so if we said 400 of them at the same time wanted to cash out 15 days, how would that impact your budget? And how would it impact classrooms?
Well, so for us, again, this is something that we've looked at, and if I remember correctly, because it's been a little while since I've done the numbers, I think if it was 13 days, it was a little over $500,000 for us. But yes, it would be general fund budget. But again, I go back to the fact that while you've got that aspect that's coming out, if people do utilize it and it is an incentive, you also have the lesson costs on the backside of your substitutes. So you've got that potential where, yes, there's a payout, but on the front end, you're not paying for that sub. So in the end, in theory, it could be cheaper overall.
Not just cheaper, but then we have better classroom instruction because we have a
Yeah.
trained teacher rather than a substitute in the classroom that day.
It's an interesting assumption, and it's an interesting proposal. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. I guess one thing I was curious about, if you had someone had a financial advisor like Funky Fromeyer, that would encourage them that, hey, take that money now and invest it in deferred comp, and it'd be worth a whole lot more when you retire. And you wouldn't have to pay any taxes on it when you took it out.
Yes.
Is that something that would be? They could probably do that, correct?
It's my understanding that they would be able to do that, and that might be something that might need additional consideration from the legal heads that are smarter than me. But yes, that would be something that we would be incentivizing for sure.
Okay. I know Funky Fromeyer always likes for people to invest their money, so it'd be not put it in a mason jar. You want to respond to that? Okay.
I got to be
I will
careful.
allow that.
I'm a certified financial planner, but I'm logged out of that job, so I can't be given advice right now. But from a fiduciary standpoint, what you've done is you've created a very meaningful opportunity, I think, for families to recognize they've got very meaningful benefits, and our educators have excellent benefits. There aren't opportunities in most private sectors employment to receive a payout on unused sick days or unused vacation and such. So this is such a benefit, and I love that you're providing a degree of flexibility. So I'm an enormous fan of flexibility, and you've made such great points to acknowledge that it's kind of rewarding wellness. That hey, you might have been sick, but you were able to just get through So in a way, that's sort of that toughness that's being rewarded, and I'm good with that. But I also recognize the point you made. Families have tough times too, and this gives an opportunity for another tool in the toolbox to draw upon for now. And you may have put off what you'll get in the future, unfortunately, but the present is where we live, and you may have needed it now. So again, I really applaud you, and yeah, Funky Frohmeyer is going to be a 2 thumbs up for this effort.
Senator Nemus, you have something to add to that?
Yes, point of clarification too. Senator Nunn, thanks for bringing this, because as we know, the teachers of old in general want to teach the kids and they're in the classroom. Teachers now want to teach the kids, but they also want to, be off too. So this is a good incentive for them. But as far as the Chairman, you mentioned that you could take it out and not be taxed until later. I think that is incorrect. You would be taxed for what you're taking out. You could invest it with a good financial advisor and make more money before along the way instead of taking it at the end. That is true. But it would be taxed if they used it just like, because it's pay.
I was
taking it a different way.
I was curious if maybe there was reference being made to maybe like a 403B or a 457B, which would be.
But this is not that money. This
Okay.
is salary, or this is, if you took a sick day, you pay taxes on that. If you take this pay in lieu of being sick that day, that would still be taxed, correct?
Well, my understanding was, so, and I'm not the expert on this for sure, but my understanding was at the end when people retire and they get their sick day payout, one of the options that they have is rolling that money into a 457 or a 403B, and it would protect from that tax on the front end. Again, those are vehicles that are used that have tax on the back end for sure. So you don't escape the tax liability entirely, but again, I think
that's
what
doesn't have anything to do with this bill. That's just be an option. But I'm sure you could put it into a Roth. But I would still think that it need to be clarified for someone that would take this option, because I would think it was pay that you would have to pay taxes.
Okay.
All right. It's been some interesting discussion. Representative Tipton, that's another question.
We always like data. Is there any provision in here for some kind of reporting so that we would have an idea how this is utilized across the districts?
Not currently, but I'd be open to
Just a
adding
thought,
that.
because I think it would be very important for us to understand how this is being used as we make future decisions.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I have one more point.
Please.
So I haven't filed this bill yet, but Senator Higgins already committee subbed me with some language to add. We combined. He had another very good idea.
You don't have to share those good ideas, especially when they request that we only file 5 bills. But I got 5 for PPOB, 5 for transportation, and 5 for me.
He's found a way to make sure his last session leaves a lasting impact and legacy. So this is another change, and it's included in this bill, and it would give teachers and employees of the school district an opportunity to use accumulated sick leave for the observance of religious holidays not otherwise included in the school calendar if the teacher or employee submits a personal statement verifying the observance of said holiday.
Yeah, thank you for that. It's the same trend of thought, and dealing with the sick days and their ability for teachers to use them as something else other than sick days if they're not sick, and that's a good thing. And thank you for doing that.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Any other questions? We have already vetted that one too previously.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't realize.
No, it's okay. No, I'm glad you brought it up. I was going, in full disclosure, that will be on there.
I put it on thinking it'd help me get mine through.
Okay. Any other questions? Well, thank you all for being here on this Friday morning, and safe travels to everyone.
Thank you.
And thank you again. Thank you.